First couple hours of play have seen Durr take the chip lead. He's about 250,000 ahead, most of it based on that big hand with the aces against ace-king. Sammy's dug a hole for himself. Is he up for the challenge to get even? And I'm thrilled to be joined throughout this match by high-stakes cash player, tournament player Isaac Haxton. Isaac, what do you think the challenge is for Sammy right now?
Just to stay focused, not get too over-aggressive or impatient, not be trying to, you know, get even in the next 30 hands. He just needs to be thinking about trying to play each hand as well as he can as the match progresses.
Because, I mean, really, you take that massive pot out of it. Sammy's played quite well. He's gotten some big bluffs off, made some good passes.
He absolutely has. He's found himself in a lot of situations where he was facing a bet on the end with effectively a bluff catcher and made a lot of good choices. Folded when he should have folded, called when he should have called.
This sort of match, really this challenge, the first of its kind live, but this is what people are doing these days, playing heads up. I mean, you didn't start out as a heads up player, and that's almost all you play now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. My first 3 years playing poker, I played very little other than 10-handed limit hold'em. And in the last year, probably 3/4 of my play has been heads up, no limit.
Tom taking that pot. Worst hand before the flop makes top pair. He's not tired. Can't be tired when you're up $250,000, can you? You loud? But it's sort of, have you come to realize or to decide that heads-up play is the most skillful form of the game? Do you think that's what is happening in the poker world now?
I do think it's the most skillful variation of no limit anyhow, and also the most exciting. In 6 or 9-handed games, there's so much waiting for a strong hand, getting a strong hand that largely plays itself, and running it into somebody else's strong hand that largely plays itself. And in heads up no limit, you really have to be contesting every pot. It's a lot faster paced and more exciting.
3-bet by Durr. Check the flop. Does this check have to do with the flop texture, just sort of a rhythm?
I think that would be the main consideration, yeah. Almost never is Sammy going to have a hand that has no piece of that board, so Durr would have to be prepared to fire multiple barrels to bluff Sammy off of anything here, and he very likely might face a raise if he bets the flop.
That 6 looks like a good card on the turn for Durr.
Somewhat, though. He shouldn't be at all surprised to see that Sammy has flopped a pair of 6s and checked it back.
And I mean, if you're Sammy here, is calling the move because it'll look like you're on a draw, or do you like raising?
The board is so coordinated, it's so likely that he's up against Queen-Jack or Jack-8 or something like that with a lot of outs, or some pair that's going to feel obligated to call a raise.
Do you like overall raising then?
Overall, I would prefer a raise here from Sammy, yeah.
And a kind of a shutout raise so you don't give anyone a price to catch up?
Yeah, I wouldn't make it small enough that a draw could just call. I'd make it at least 50,000, maybe a bit more even.
Raise up to 52. Fold.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, he's done it perfect there. You just wonder, Durr quickly folding, if he's not even giving Sammy credit for being able to have a draw there, if you know what I mean.
We've seen Tom over and over folding in spots where he can only beat a bluff. And it does not seem that he's giving Sammy a lot of credit for being able to make a big bluff.
Back to their favorite topic of conversation, Nobu.
Actually, I guess I didn't bet in shrimp. This is probably how Ivy feels every day. Nice on his. He offered me 50K.
Is he on 50 now?
Yeah.
He'll go to 150.
We'll go to 383.
Really?
I think so. That was my original number. I mean, I think if I didn't let him buy out, I still would win a lot of the time from him just.
What, from him just?
Owing me $1 million.
But he won't bet. He won't bet. He won't buy out unless he's really
Dude, it messes with you. You like can't miss a meal when you don't eat meat. I mean, it is healthier for you, but it doesn't go well with, you know, like the rest of your life. You know, I mean, like you can't play poker and stuff and not eat any meat whatsoever. He offers 300K.
Yeah, but
I'll make it
why
like-
did he make that bet with you though? That's what I don't understand.
He thought he could do it. He thought he had a 3 million he was making.
In a year.
Yeah.
A year's a long time, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this proposition bet. Have you? Isaac?
No, I
mean, it was
haven't.
like-
It sounds like Ivy stands
quick
to
bet.
make $1 million if he
I mean-
can last a year without eating meat.
You know, he thought he was suckering me and making 3 million, and a lot.
If I'm following this conversation,
I was not
Ivy
sure.
just offered to buy out for
We have,
50,000, and
during
Tom
that,
is holding
we get
out for
meat
it to go
fish.
higher.
Right.
So 40 days. I do it every year.
Oh my god.
Meat
Do you
and
eat
fish.
chicken?
Huh?
Do you eat chicken?
What do you mean?
Does chicken count as meat?
What's it called? Chicken does not. Of course, chicken. Are you serious?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You me chicken counts as meat? You mad?
22,000.
Does chicken count as meat? Of course. No chicken, no fish, no chicken, no fish, no.
What do you eat?
This is what these
Just
guys,
vegetables,
they
man.
make these
That's it,
crazy
vegetables.
prop bets. I
Nothing
mean,
but
you're around them all the
vegetables.
time, aren't you?
Yeah,
40 days?
40
I've
days. Why should we do it
seen
for 60 days?
lots of ridiculous prop bets.
For like Lent, like in like when they do Easter.
Heard stories of
Yeah,
more
40 days,
ridiculous
49
ones.
ones. Just
Something about Huckseed having to walk to Mexico
eat
from
no
Las
fish.
Vegas,
so
and
it's just like
all kinds of crazy
eating
things.
rice and you eat more carbs.
But,
believe it or not, like
you know, these
potatoes
players,
and-
they
Right,
look at
right,
the
right.
prop bet
You know,
the same
and
way they
things
do
like
with
that, just to
poker.
keep
They're
you
the same way
going.
they analyze it.
Raise up to 3,000.
You know what I mean? Just like to keep you going, just to see it.
And,
you get
yeah,
so
$1 million
full.
for not eating meat.
And it
That
blows
was,
you a lot.
Negrano
You
could
get
do it.
large, horrible. You know, but we do it all the time for Lent, so it's okay.
Sounds terrible.
Not really terrible.
Are you allowed to eat eggs?
Yeah, you can do eggs. You're allowed
It's
to
quite
do eggs.
interesting because
You're allowed to do eggs. But like, oh sorry.
Tom
You're allowed to do
doesn't
eggs,
usually
but,
like
you
to
can't-
talk when he's
what's it-
playing
you can't
live.
do,
And it's sort of the idea right now, is he
can't
trying to
do,
distract Sammy, or is he just trying to keep it very friendly,
can't
or is
do-
it just, they just are friendly?
Like my mum, she does it.
I think it's mostly the latter of those. I
No
think
eggs,
that
no milk,
this is just a
nothing.
generally sort of friendly situation
no,
that
milk, no dairy, absolutely out the diet. So it's just like
they're here to
just,
have fun.
What's it called? It's just pure vegetable, and that's it. Imagine that. My mum would do that easy for $1 million. You know what I hope?
There is
If I
a,
win, I hope the dollar goes down. And if I lose, I hope the dollar goes down. Dollar goes up. Just to make things nice, you know?
Wait, isn't it the other way around?
1,000 careful.
If you win, you want the dollar to go up.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
If I lose, I want the dollar to go down.
Send me 1,000, please.
Sammy will be paying in pounds and Durr playing in dollars. But
What's the
there is
pound
an
right now?
idea
You know?
I think
that
it's
when you're
1.7.
talking to someone and they're talking back, it's harder for them to bluff. Do you find that?
Harder to really do anything other than play your hands in the
days.
simplest and most mechanical way. It's just distracting.
If you have,
And Sammy just shipped Tom 10,000 for the 7 deuce, Isaac.
I'll take
Yeah,
some.
earlier they agreed to play the 7-deuce game, which is sort of a side bet that players sometimes agree to in a live cash game, where if any player wins a pot with 7-deuce, the worst hand in Hold'em, the other player or all of the other players at the table pay them some bounty, in this case $10,000.
I had 7 deuce, and I raised and he folded.
Craig, give me $250,000.
Well, he's asked for 250K more, Sammy, and while he reloads, I'm going to check in with Roland DeWolf and Neil Channing on their opinion on the rebuy in the game to come. What are the dynamics for a rebuy in a heads-up cash game, Isaac? I mean, Sammy did have about 120 left.
Yeah, I don't know if he just wants to be deep enough that he can win it all back in one hand, or if it's to some extent a strategic decision that he likes how the game is playing better when the players are deeper stacked. Earlier I was talking about how being shorter stacked favored the frequent 3-betting that Tom was doing, and maybe he feels like he'll be able to defend against that more easily with more money behind.
And be able to perhaps set up set a trap, win the big pot.
Yeah, quite possibly.
He's got a big hand here. Fortunately, Durr not cooperating. When you watch these heads-up cash games online, which is where most people get to watch them, you usually find that people don't rebuy until they go bust.
500.
Often, though some players like to top up to the maximum amount available whenever they can also.
7,500.
It really varies.
Theoretically, you should be able to play more flops when you're deeper because you have more
Raise
back.
up to 3,000.
I don't know if it's necessarily
Raise
quite
up
that
to
straightforward. The tendency is more that the deeper you are, the more the button is favored. When you're very deep, actually,
Call.
it's my opinion that the big blind should play tighter.
We saw Sammy 4-bet with ace-jack earlier in the match. Just smooth calling with the ace-queen here.
Yeah, I wonder if he regretted the 4-bet with the ace-jack after he did it, or if he's just sort of mixing things up. He is even deeper now than he was when that hand happened. He's now playing about 360k compared to the 250 in the ace-jack hand.
Call.
And even though they both have ace-queen, basically a huge flop for Sammy, and Durr's on the arm now.
Yeah.
Should he be taking Sammy for a king here and just giving up?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Sammy can have plenty of things besides a king here. He'd certainly call with a flush draw or a pocket pair between fives and kings. And Sammy rivers the nuts. We'll see if he gets anything out of Tom here. Probably not now that Tom has checked. I thought he had a better chance of catching a bluff than he does of value betting and getting paid.
Sort of the idea that Tom has checked there means he's basically just given up on it.
I don't see Tom calling. Every once in a while he might check raise here, but
That's a big bet to check raise, isn't it?
I can't see quite how big it is just yet.
The
but
yellows are 10,000, so you're looking at looks like about 70 maybe. I mean,
Sammy raised. Sammy bet 100.
100. Yikes.
113,000 and Tom called.
113,000. That's a twice double
Yeah.
pot.
Yep. Sammy continues to make huge bets when he makes big hands.
Man, I got tired.
Welcome back.
Got tired also.
Gonna have the total aggression here, and Durr's lead over Sammy in that stat is pretty significant.
Yes, it is. Sammy's not exactly playing passively, but what that stat indicates is that Durr is really the one driving the action in most of the hands. He's been the more aggressive player.
Is it very simplistic to say that the more aggressive player in a heads-up match is going to be the winner? Is that a...
Yeah, I think that would be an oversimplification for sure. I think it's very possible to be outplaying your opponent while playing considerably more passively than them.
And yet if your number was, say, like 25 or 20, that would definitely...
That would be so low that it's almost certainly a problem. But the 85 to 65 sort of thing that we're seeing here, I don't think that in a vacuum you can say that stat means one player's playing better than the other.
This pot's gotten interesting. It was check on the flop, and now that the ace has come, has Durr...
I believe the bet went in on the flop.
Sorry.
Pot's at 16,000.
Right,
I
right.
think that
Oh, yes, sorry, you're right. So they must have bet 5,000 on the flop.
yeah, I believe so.
And now Sammy's led the turn.
Yeah, for just over pot.
Do you feel like he's getting a bit gun-shy? Should Sammy be thinking as far as bet size here?
I don't know. Sammy has not gotten paid off on the river much in this match. And I don't know if it's about to change this hand, or if... Oh, it looks like he checked.
2 pairs.
He did. And you wonder if he must have been checking with the intent of raising there, right?
I would think so. I mean, he certainly wasn't checking to fold.